Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Welcome to another edition of RetroGrade, the occasional series that takes a brief look at various classic games from yesteryear. After enjoying quite a few titles from Capcom, it's time to shift our focus over to Taito for a little while, starting with their 1994 arcade release, Elevator Action Returns. As you may have gathered from the title, this is a sequel to their earlier hit Elevator Action from 1983. The original game impressed at the time of its release and is still fondly remembered by those who played it today. The basic formula sees you taking control of a sneaky spy who has to work their way through a high-rise building and locate some sensitive data, all the while avoiding enemy agents. In order to proceed through the building, the player would have to navigate a series of elevators without getting shot or dying through being squashed or falling down a lift shaft. This gameplay formula, entertaining as it was in 1983, did start to feel a bit repetitive after a while, so when it came time to come up with a sequel, Taito took advantage of the extra power offered by modern arcade hardware, as well as their experience in making hit games, to come up with a greatly expanded and more exciting game design. The opening level is highly reminiscent of the original game, that is until you get to the bottom of the building where there is a huge explosion that levels the entire place. From that point on, the level design opens up considerably, and the action goes from the standard multi-level tenement building to more expansive environments such as airports that scroll horizontally as well as vertically. As things progress, the enemy types will also go from your standard thugs and their pet dogs, who rather upsettingly you can set on fire with explosive barrels, to robotic crab things and baddies flying around with jetpacks. There is some nice detail in the level backgrounds, and the animation of the various sprites is very nice too. It can be very satisfying dealing with the baddies by setting them alight or blowing them to pieces with a shotgun, and the solid sound effects help round out the experience. You can choose from 3 different characters who all have subtle differences to them, from faster movement to better firepower, and you can bring in a second player to help you through the levels too. The difficulty quite quickly goes from reasonable in the opening stage to quite overwhelming by the end of the second, but because this is an arcade game you can just keep adding credits until you reach the end, which sadly won't take you very long. There's only about an hour of gameplay to be had from beginning to end, which means that Elevator Action Returns doesn't really make for a great console experience on the Sega Saturn, where it was released on its own. It's now quite pricey to pick up as well and was never released outside of Japan. The game fares much better on the PS2 and original Xbox because it is just one part of the fantastic Taito Legends 2 compilation. For around £10 on the Sony console or slightly more on Microsoft's machine, you can own a collection of 39 games, most of which are undisputed classics. Who cares if Elevator Action Returns can be completed in an hour when you have tons of other titles to keep you entertained as well? This is undoubtedly the easiest and best way to own this game today. It is a shame that the Xbox version was never made backwards compatible with the 360 and that it currently isn't playable on the Xbox One either. I live in hope that one day Microsoft will add it to the very slowly growing list of original Xbox titles that can be enjoyed on their current gen machine. However, taking Elevator Action Returns on its own merits, I would give it a score of 3 pea-stain lifts out of 5. The brief playtime is a bit of a problem, but it also means you can dip in every so often and have fun without having to commit a ton of time. The co-op mode livens things up considerably, as it's always more fun to blow away nasty terrorists with the help of a friend. Overall, Elevator Action Returns is a cool sequel to the aging original that is worth checking out, if only for a little while. Thank you for watching this episode of RetroGrade. There'll be more to come in the future. In the meantime, take care. Take care.